Hey Fit Fam, it is Coach Rant from Team FFLEX. Today we're going to dive into the Pittsburgh Pro. Bikini just went down this past weekend, and we're going to look at our top 5 competitors, talk about the criteria, talk about the placings, and see just a little bit more insight into what this means for you as a bikini competitor, no matter your level. And that is exactly what we do on this channel. So if you're new here, hang out with me, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, because YouTube is not loving bodybuilders, it's not loving bikini competitors. And every time you hit that thumbs up, we go ahead and put it in their face and say, yes, you damn well better. All right, so here we go. So let's talk about our top 3 first off. Some familiar faces here. If you guys have been watching my channel, you pay attention to bikini at all, you're gonna know we got Amy right here. She's been doing great this season. We got Ashley over here. She's been doing great this season. And we got Vanya over here. She's been doing great this season. So that is our placings. Amy wins, Ashley takes second, Vanya takes third. And you know, not surprising to see this mix of ladies up on the screen here today, and these placings coming down the way they did. Now, there's a lot of similarities in these physiques, but also a lot of differences, and I want to take a little bit of time here to highlight those. Okay, so if we know what we know, which is the bikini is all about the hourglass shape, every single one of these ladies gonna be locking that down. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, they always show up very consistent, this top 3 here. And I feel like, you know, they're playing with their looks a little bit, but, you know, the criteria still is the criteria. And so we see here hourglass shape all the way. If you are new to trying to get into bikini, this is gonna be your first rodeo coming up, right? Hourglass is everything. You got to have that, and that comes from muscle, and that is exactly what all 3 of these ladies really exemplify, right? So that hourglass is created by the shoulders, the development that we're going to see there in all 3 of them, the waist being narrow and small here. See that on all 3 of them, and then the lower body widens back out, glutes, hamstrings, quads, everything here to show, okay, more muscle. So really, you know, bikini competitors always get in their head about conditioning and being lean enough and making sure that they're lean, all right, chasing the shreds. We hear this all the time, see it all the time, cardio, 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 but it's the wrong type of approach. If you want to do the best on stage as a bikini competitor, no matter your level, you know, whether you've never competed or you're already a pro, you need to really focus on the muscularity, okay? And that's what I think this top 3 is really telling us. Judges showing us right here, hey, bikini, we're still talking about muscle, ladies and gents out there coaching bikini competitors. It is not just about, you know, getting lean and showing shreds and having a little bit of shape. We want to see some muscle. And so I think that's a clear message here. Like, looking at Amy, I mean, she's got the most muscle on this stage, and we'll see that as we look at lower call outs here. She's got a lot of shoulder going on. She's got, you know, really good waist ratio, a lot of glute development, specifically her upper glute showcasing everywhere we want to see, and then her hamstrings and quads match that. Now, honestly, normally looking at Amy, this is a more muscled upper body look for her. But it works in her favor in this situation because she actually has the lower body muscle to match. In other words, you know, looking at the 3 here, most symmetrical on this call out, okay, in my opinion, and it's just that balance factor. Normally, though, that type of shoulder development, you got to watch out for this, ladies. If you don't have that symmetry lower body to tie that together, it's going to look disproportionate, right? And we'll see that as we kind of go down into some of the other placings in this top 5 here. But, you know, since she's got such dominant glute effect, the shoulders that she can be a little bit more dominant with, it matches. It still shows hourglass. This is all here. And again, conditioning wise, we do talk about conditioning bikini, flatness in the stomach, right? Got to have the right level of body fat there. These soft lines, the glute here, the quad, hamstring soft lines, and in the upper body. No deep cuts, no striations, no graininess, none of that stuff. Not too lean. You still want to be at that level of conditioning, okay? Ashley right here now, our second place. Ashley K, very consistent. Some of her best physiques coming stage this season. I think she was a little bit better at the last competition that I reviewed of her in there, but here again, still showing very comparably. Now, for Ashley, I think her shoulders are looking a bit too dominant in today's look. You know, her glutes and everything still pronounced. She's still got all the great markers. I mean, we're down to points of separation between these first and second placings. Keep that in mind. All really good examples of the criteria here. I'm just trying to give you further insight into how the placings may have landed the way they did and how that's relevant for you. But looking at Ashley, I'm getting a, you know, when I just look at her physique here, it looks a little bit too dominant to me upper body wise into the shoulders here in this shot, in this look. So not sure if that's a peaking thing, something she could tweak? Definitely think it is, because I saw her, I think, better at her previous competition. Okay, so this is still a great look for her, coming in right on point there, you know, overall for the criteria, but I think her shoulders are coming out a little bit too dominant here to me, even more than Amy's. And Amy has, you know, really developed shoulders, but just symmetry wise, you can just see, you know, lower body looks a little bit less dominant in the sense. Upper body's taking the cake, where bikini, up, down, left, right, symmetry is what we really want to see, right? So looking over here, Vanya, you know, really good showcasing for her. Kind of the opposite effect. I feel like her shoulders are getting a little bit lost. Her lower body really takes the shape, takes the cake here, so to speak, right? So she's got, you know, right on par conditioning. Same with Ashley, by the way. The conditioning is identical with these three ladies. But I feel like her lower body dominance is kind of showcasing a little bit too much. Hence, you know, third place instead of first. Now, let's look at these ladies from the back. I always say on this channel, bikini is one from the back, and it damn well is. You better know it. All right, and we look here, we get to see, okay, really clear example. Pretty close between the three ladies from the back here, but some clear differences as well. So you can see Amy's upper glute looking very full, overall glutes looking very full. She does have a bit of a quad sweep going on, which is, you know, something we normally talk about seeing more with wellness competitors. But again, Amy's got a lot of muscle. She's showcasing a lot of muscle. And somehow she continues to pull it through symmetry-wise to make sure that it's going to match. And that's why she keeps winning. She's got a lot of muscle, but showcases it well. And looking at the hamstrings, glute tie-in, everybody's always looking at this, right? Nice soft tie-in here. Glutes come into the hamstring. Very good, okay? So overall right there. Ashley, again, you know, really good markers, but her glutes kind of get lost next to Amy's, in my opinion, right? She needs to have a little bit more of that fullness to the glutes, the upper glute, overall glute, and I think that would have tied in a little bit differently, right? It could have been, you know, it could have been right. She may have won the comp had that come in a bit better, right? Because her front, it would have looked a little bit more balanced, and her back would have looked a little bit more balanced too, and also been able to go up against Amy's fullness in the lower body here. So that's a factor. And Vanya here, upper body just, again, not getting the full symmetry here. Look, I'm not feeling like we're getting that from the back as much. And I feel like, you know, again, too, to stand up against Amy's muscle development, probably need to be a little bit more filled out in the glutes, because her quads from the back almost kind of dominating this pose. So some simple things, you know, to make improvements with. Again, we're talking about our top three, you guys. Great physiques, great example of criteria. Now I want to look at Amy, our winner, compared to the fourth and fifth place. So in fourth, we got Maria over here, and then we got Tara over here in fifth. Okay, so again, we've seen a few of these ladies pop up at some other events. If you've been watching my channel, you've probably seen those. If you haven't and you're new here, subscribe right now and check out the other videos. We got many more coming. But yeah, so we got Maria here and we got Tara here, and again, very comparable. This was a really competitive Pittsburgh Pro, as we always know. Jim Mannion show, you know, it really is one of the top bodybuilding shows. So very exciting to see, again, some consistent looks here. However, when we look at Maria, I think, you know, upper body dominance is screaming here, right? Like, it looks just very developed, very big compared on her frame. It just kind of stands out a little too much. And I think that that was a key for her there, that she could have, you know, showed a little bit more symmetry. We almost get a figure-esque type look to that upper body, that shoulder and that bicep and that tricep coming together. So I think that could have been a variable for sure for her. And when we look at the back, we always see the full story, right? And Tara is a little bit different here. Tara, I think, just needs to work on her symmetry overall, right? And fill out the glutes a bit more. So really not as much muscle as she needs. Let's take a look from the back now. So this is interesting from the back, right? Because again, we get to really see, again, how bikini is won from the back. So Amy, again, very consistent look, you guys. That's what we're talking about, is like up down symmetry, perfect. You know, conditioning really spot on, and it stays even. We got a little bit of difference in our fourth and fifth in those areas, right? So if we look here at Maria, the shoulders very dominant from the back pose. Okay, like I look at this and I'm like, whoa, you know, if we cut a line right here, this could be a fit. You know, it's not figure, it's not as big as figure, but it's leaning that look, right? It could be like, oh, okay, it's a lot of shoulder dominance. We're looking at something like a figure athlete, right? So she's got a lot of good muscle, but it is you know, a little bit too dominant upper body wise. I think that's a factor. And also her lower body symmetry is a little off to me. Quads look a little bit too big here compared to the glutes, even though her glute condition and shape is really on point. So I think that's another area that you could focus on. And then looking over here at Tara, right? Tara is very, very nice back pose. I think, you know, her symmetry is really spot on. Upper glute looks great. Overall glute fullness looks great. You know, the quads and everything kind of do match. Quads look a little bit dominant, not too bad. Really what's blatantly different here to me is her conditioning, upper to lower, right? Her upper body looks really, really hard compared to her lower body, even though both are on really good condition. And one area that, you know, she just doesn't have there as much like Amy does is that size, right? She just doesn't have the exact same size to stand up to. She's also showing overall a bit harder than Amy is, right? So a little bit harder conditioning. Maybe that was not the look judges wanted to go with this day, where they wanted a little bit of that softer look like Amy has brought here. So there is definitely a lot to be said for making sure that you nail the conditioning that is on your frame, on your physique. And, you know, Tara also, just from the front, looks, her back pose looks great. It just doesn't look the same from the front. So I think some of those things, you know, that got to come together there to really tie that in. But again, we're talking about our top 5, all really great athletes, really great examples of the criteria. Phenomenal job here, ladies. And, you know, for those of you out there that are trying to get your best bikini type physique, you want to be looking at what are those markers? How do you get that best hourglass? How do you build that muscle to attain that? And how do you maintain that on prep and bring that all the way through, right? And so that's really key. That's really critical. You got to have all those markers. You really got to draw that in and together if you want to be the best on stage, okay? So that's at every level, no matter what. And yeah, great competition. Really excited. I want to know what you think in the comments. Let me know, who do you think should have won? Do you agree with the placings? Do you think Ashley should have won? Should Vanya have won? Should Tara have won? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll be back with more videos incoming, more criteria to go. Thanks for watching Coach Rye. Peace out.